Good evening and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. More on the is God evil, is the Bible evil, the atheist versus Christianity, I suppose, argument. I've had quite a lot of replies now. So what I want to do is just slow everyone down. Let's talk about the rules of engagement, how we're going to approach these, what turns out to be two different discussions, with a view to having a long-term, not a quick discussion, but a detailed, thorough discussion, where we both find agreement at the end. Because what I can see happening now is, what I'm assuming is with the atheists that I'm getting the replies from, they are smart guys. They've obviously done some level of thinking, they've obviously done some level of study, but they are blurging like 20 points into a single comment and expecting that I'm going to answer all of those in one comment, or they're posting like 7 comments in a row and expecting that I'm going to sit here for the rest of the day and just do nothing but that. So I feel like if we're going to be constructive about this, guys, we need to respect each other's time a little bit more and be more reasonable about this. So let's go through how that's going to work. The people that I'm now discussing this with, I have a guy called Victim246, and he seems actually pretty cool. At first I wasn't sure about this guy, but now that we've spent a little bit of time talking, I think this is a decent, intelligent guy who's going to bring good arguments. So he's kind of the main guy that I'll be debating with. Another guy has turned up called R.S. Orkin. Now he is continually posting like 6 and 7 comments in a row, so we'll go through why that's a bad idea, what I prefer. And there was a lady from yesterday called Karam Karma UK who also had a theological argument against the Bible. So first of all, let's split the argument into its constituents, because my original argument, the one that was brought to me by the original atheist, was I think God is evil because God makes life end in death. That was his argument. So he was arguing directly against God's actual being, despite claiming that God is not real. So he had no experience of God's being. He did not know God. He was describing God as evil before he's met God. So that was an easy one for me to win, and I did win it. I have actually met God, and I spend a lot of time praying and communicating with God. So even if you don't believe me that happens, or you don't believe that God is real, if you think I'm on drugs or it's a delusion, whatever you say against me, you cannot directly attack God's character if you don't know God. Okay, so that's the first argument. If you're going to attack God's person, by nature of you attacking God's person, you are validating that God is real and has a person who is there to be attacked. Right? So that's the first argument. Is God literally evil in person? And in order to have that, you need to have some experience of God's real being, like I do. So I'm happy to have that discussion with you, but I need you to know, if you've never met God, spoken to God, or if you don't believe that God is a real being, you cannot have that discussion with me. So that means you are then going to be taking on the second argument, which is the way God is described in the classical scripture, in the Bible. The description in the Bible is bad. The Bible contains evil. That is your real argument. You're not arguing against God personally because you don't believe in him and you've never met him, if he is real. You're saying the classical scripture of the Bible describes God to be evil, and I think the Bible description being evil is a problem. So that's what you're arguing about. You see, there's 2 arguments there. There's God the being. It's almost like God the being is the personality of God if he was real. You're saying, I don't like God, even though I admit that he's real. That's that argument. Or if you don't admit that God is real, you are saying, I don't like the Bible writings. And you're saying the Bible writings are bad, and that is why I don't like the idea of God, because the description I'm given of him is bad. So they're the 2 arguments we're going to be facing. God is evil because I don't like him is the first one, and I don't like the idea of God because Bible is the second one. So now that we've got those 2 things out of the way, they're the 2 arguments that we're in the long term going to be thoroughly going through. And I will fully admit, I think because I have an experience of God and I know God's being, if you argue with me that God is an evil being, you will lose that. Because I know God better than you do. I can guarantee you that. And I like God. I know God's got a good being. He's not evil at all. However, if you say the Bible contains a description of an evil God and you don't like that, that's an argument that I may well end up losing, because even though I have many Bibles and I have studied it fairly often, I am by no means a scripture expert. I know people who are better at that kind of thing than I am, right? So that's an argument you might likely, you do better in. But I'm happy to do it anyway. I don't mind. I don't think I'm some kind of super genius who wins every single debate and argument. I'm likely to lose some points, and I will admit when I do. And this is what I wanted to get onto last. In the name of courtesy and a continuing discussion and respecting my time and my audience's time, because that's why I make these videos and these discussions, for my audience to, get involved with and to learn from, we need to agree a standard of courtesy. So that's what we're going to do. I don't mind which of these two arguments you take on with me. I'm happy to field both or either. And I don't mind who you are, as long as you remain polite and you respect my time. I will be arguing the point, not your personality. As far as I know, your personality is fantastic. You're a lovely person. You've never done anything wrong to anyone. You wouldn't say boo to a goose. You are intelligent and well-read. That's how I'm going to approach you, because I don't know any better. So I'm going to generously say you are at least equal with me in terms of study, in terms of, courtesies and politeness and such. So it is the point that you make that I'm going to be attacking or agreeing with. So the general courtesies are going to go like this. Please, when you write a comment, don't just post a comment immediately as you're typing it, because you will end up triple or quadruple posting. After you have read my thing that you're replying to, write your comment down and don't send it. Write your comment down, go back to the top and read through it again from the top. Try to shorten it by taking out repeats or things that you don't need to say. Really focus your comment and try to stick to 1 point per comment. Because if you write 2 pages in one comment and it's got 15 bullet points in there, I can't reasonably be expected to respond to all that in a single comment. It just won't work. Even in a video, it would take me too long. And remember, I'm doing this for my audience to have something good to watch. So if it turns out your comment is too long and there's too many points in there, and then it just drowns out the conversation by having like 100 comments in it, that's not good for my audience, and I will delete those comments and I will insert my own bullet point summary with the names attached to the bullet points. Now, I know this is going to make people criticize me. They'll go, oh, he's deleting comments or whatever. I'm not deleting comments. I am re-summarizing comments in a way that's easier to read for my audience, because they are the people I make these videos for. However, if you do that courtesy for me, if you summarize your points and you make 1 point at a time, none of your comments will disappear. I guarantee you, I will not delete any comments just because I disagree with them or because I found that they were objectionable in some way. As long as they are not outwardly racist or rude in some way, if they contain logical arguments, then they will remain. But please, try and shorten the comments down. Sorry, my stoma's showing. Please try and shorten your comments down so that they are pointed, so that people can read through them quickly. Then it means the audience will appreciate that. You're respecting my time, and I can put my time into countering your arguments rather than administrating the comments. So that's the first set of courtesies. The second set of courtesies is, please keep in mind a lot of the things that you will be bringing up, the arguments you are bringing, I have already previously answered in long form videos, or sometimes I've done a series of short videos, especially when it comes to debating different parts of the Bible. So if I post you a link to a previous video that I've done and say I've already covered this, please take the time to go and watch that video through. Now keep in mind, it's not like they're not entertaining. My videos are okay, but I don't make videos for the sake of entertainment. You will not find loads of memes, you will not find jokes, you will not find jump cuts every 10 seconds. I'm not a TikTok. I'm not doing this for popularity or money. I'm doing this as a service. When you ask me a question, I am personally answering you. You're my audience. So the only people I care about is the person who asked me the question and anyone who wants to read that. That's not going to be a large amount of people. So when I say my audience, usually I'm talking about maybe a dozen people at most, 20 people at absolute most. So they're the people I want you to consider when you're writing your comments and when you're making your points. It's not just about you, it's about us having a discussion and the audience learning from that discussion. And hopefully by the end of it, we will all end up being, good friends, because we'll all, whether we agree or not, find common ground in our humanity. And if you make good points, even if I disagree with them, you will earn my respect by presenting those points in an intelligent way. And who knows, like I say, I have been wrong before. Maybe I'm wrong on some of those points, and you will win And then as a courtesy to you, I will record that in a video. I will say, this guy brought me this point, this was my rebuttal, but it turned out that I was wrong and this is the correct answer. And I will present your point with your name on it. So, before this video gets too long, that's the courtesy rules out the way. The people who I am specifically speaking to, Victim246, RS Orkin and Kurum Karma UK, have all commented. Please, if you are watching this and you wish to know the background, look for the comments beneath the previous 3 videos. And in future, every time the comment stream gets too long, I will make a new video and we will restart the conversation with a summary at the top so that people can keep up with the evolution of how the discussion goes. And with any luck, hope and you know, a little bit of effort, we can get through these arguments and we can find the truth at the same time. So we will meet at that point of truth together and we will both agree. So that's the end of this video. I look forward to hearing your comments and having those discussions with you. Hope you enjoyed this and you learned something. God bless you all, and I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now. So, in conclusion, keep the courtesy, respect my time, I will respect yours, and I think, bearing in mind the quality of people, we have a fairly good couple of debates on our hands. So, that's all for now. I look forward to seeing you. God bless you lovely people, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Bye-bye.